Hey everybody, Marion here. And today I want to talk about the next couple steps in the whole recovery process. Really what I'm talking about now is going back to project management, risk management, and your risk identification, your risk prioritization, and then I'm quickly going to take a look at what do you do once you've identified them. Identification can be done either on your own if you're doing a personal goal, or you may even want to bring family members in, team members in, depending what it is you're working with. If you're working on a personal goal, you may have one group. If you're working on a family goal, another group. You may, even on personal goals, you may want to pull a friend or something in just to bring up more ideas and to help you get the juices flowing. Brainstorming, everything counts. Doesn't matter how silly, crazy, whatever it is, because you want to pull all those ideas out. Then when you get to your analysis, you may ignore some of what you've pulled out. I mean, if you live in a spot that never gets tornadoes and you put tornado down, you probably won't deal too heavily with that. If you're in a spot that gets earthquakes, you may. Like around here, we actually aren't that far from a fault line. However, the earthquakes that happen don't do any damage. They're minor. So while it may make it to the analysis stage, it'd end up being qualified as very low and you wouldn't actually do anything with it. If you look down below, I've got a chart. So once you have listed all of the risks you can think of, everything that could get in the way of you finishing the project, from your lack of motivation to, say you're doing something in the yard and there's some ordinances that you have to follow, you want to try and come up with every possible thing that could go wrong. You don't want to dwell on it too long. We don't want to invite these things into your life. You just want to get the list of them. Then you're going to do two types of analysis on it. The first is a qualitative one, and that's where that chart comes in handy, because you want to look at the likelihood of it happening, and we usually just use a high, medium, low. High being 70% or greater chance that it would happen, low 30% or less chance of it happening, and mediums everything in between. And then you want to look at the impact of it. So if something could go wrong, but it's going wrong would have no impact on you, document it if you want. Again, if this was a true project, everything gets written down. If you're doing your own goals, I'm much looser on it. I only write down my final results on my goal planning sheet. All my notes I just don't happen to save. If it's something big, though, you may want to save all those notes so that you can go back to them at a later date. The next thing you want to do is a quantitative analysis. And here you're looking at the numbers involved in it. Don't let the fact that on probability we said percentages, because those are just estimates. They're not empirical numbers. On the numbers, you're looking at what's it going to cost you if this goes wrong. Like, do I have a risk that in the middle of doing this, I'm going to start coughing? That would be a risk, and I didn't seem to bring any water along. Okay, once you've identified them, you know what's likely and what's not likely, you're going to take a look at what to do about them. There are four major things you can do with risk that leads to what your contingency plans or backup plans or recovery plans would be. I'm just going to hit those quickly today, and tomorrow we'll go into those in more depth. You can avoid them. You eliminate the threat by eliminating the cause. You can mitigate them. You can say, okay, well, if this happens, then I will, and you mitigate it. You can accept it. You can say, if it happens, oh well. Or you can transfer them. which is the whole idea of getting insurance, outsourcing it, doing something to take the risk out of your project and moving it somewhere else. And tomorrow we'll go into more detail on what that will mean to you on an individual, team, or bigger project. So, see you all tomorrow. And in the meantime, have a great day and get those plans and projects going.